All right, so the first step is you want to use this formula here and plug in your A and your B. Ooh, there we go. And your C, you'll use that later. So this is always A with the X squared. This is always B with the X. This is always C, that's by itself. Any questions about that first ABC part? We're good on that part? Okay. If there's not a number with A, do you guys know what you should put in if it has like a negative in front of it? Great job, Ivy. Very good. Yep, you can just put in a little 1. So if we go X equals, and we use our formula, I'm going to go ahead and write it out. This pen's about to die. We'll use a different one. That is a B on the top. So if we take our numbers and we want to plug them in, just use highlighters if you want. That helps a lot of people. You can just go like this. B goes in on top. And do I have a green one? A goes in on bottom. Yeah. If you need highlighter, please feel free to help yourself, okay? Anybody have an idea what we should plug in next to the -1? Yeah, you got it. And the -1 and the 2 are just part of the formula, so they're always there. What should we plug in for the A value? Yep. Good job. You got it. Okay. So if we were to multiply those, anyone know what we would get on the top? Good. 6. And on the bottom, anyone know what a 2 times -1 is? Good job. Might be kind of hard to graph 6 over a -2. So does anyone know what that divides to? If it divides? Okay. Good. So this number is called your axis of symmetry. It's going to be that dotted line. If you don't want to write that whole thing out, you can write AOS, axis of symmetry. And you can just take your pen. It helps you to reflect the graph. So you can draw like a little dotted line on that -3. So if we go to that -3 and we draw our dotted line, that's like our mirror. That's where our line's going to be reflecting about. I really like this pen. I'm going to buy some more pens just like this. Papermate Inkjoy 0.7. That's my little shout out on YouTube. I'm getting paid for this promote. Just kidding. They is sharp paying me for promoting their stuff. Good idea. Okay, so we gotta do our chart. So we got X and Y. What number should be the first number in our chart? Yep. And then you get to pick 2 numbers that are close to it. I usually just pick the ones that are like 1 away. And you want to pick 2 numbers that are like consecutive, because if you don't, you're kind of doing double the work to get a reflection. What's up, Mac? Emergency? Yeah. Okay, I'll let Lindsay know that you're going to, so she knows. You know how I do. You know how I do. So what numbers are really close to -3? There we go. Very good. Those are stuff. Very good. Perfect. Could you pick -2 and -1? Sure, you could. Sometimes counting is a little easier. If I picked -4, but then I also picked -2.
No, they're both -1 and -2 on the same line, but
Exactly, exactly. So you're doing double the work. You'd rather pick 2 consecutive numbers after. Good. So you guys got your calculators ready to plug it in?
We are doing our term 1 lockout drill. As long as your doors are locked, front door is locked, keep doing everything the way you do. This is how we operate normally. Thank you.
Practice. You're in the restroom. You guys remember what you do? It's actually timed that perfectly. That's okay. I think she's got the calculator part down. So do we got everybody? Okay. So if you happen to be in the restroom, you can just make sure it's locked and shut it and all that jazz. But let's plug these numbers in. So we have our equation up here. We're going to take the 3, the 4, and the 5, and we're going to plug them in. That just got really blurry when I did that. Okay, so you see how the equation says like -x²? So we're going to put a -1 there. Just, it'll make life easier for you. Trust me, if you put it, if it's like a +1, you really don't have to. But when it's negative, it'll make your life easier. Someone remind me, what's the first x value we have? -3, okay. Everyone pretty comfortable using the negative button? Okay. And we're gonna put our squared. I have to use a minus button for the 6. Is that, oh, never mind. Yeah, we have to have the light on to see that. That's probably the way to go. If I put it too far here, there we go. That's perfect. Okay, what's the equation have next? We got -6x. What are we gonna plug in for x? Yep, I'm gonna stay with that -3. This one's a little bit longer. It takes a little bit of time.
oh, it took a lot of time to write. But
Oh, did you prefer to write it out versus the calculator?
But you then you're gonna go back and read it before.
Do you notice also that we use the negative button when we plug it in parentheses? Yeah, so if it's in front, bless you. If it's in front or it's in parentheses, you can use the little negative button. If it's not, use the minus button. So the last part, I don't want to miss it, is a -5, but it's a -5 because it's outside of parentheses. So just to make sure everyone had that plugged in correctly. And if you have it plugged in correctly, your life is actually not that difficult because all you have to do is hit enter, get your first y value. Don't hit clear. If you already hit clear, sorry, but don't hit clear. You can go back in and you can just, like where it's blinking, you can plug in a 4. So let me write down my first answer. So it's a +4.
I just noticed something.
What happened? What did you notice?
What's the next number? It basically switches.
Oh, it
You plug in
does?
4, so you get out 3.
Oh, yeah, it does. That's kind of funny. Usually the first 2 will only be 1 away, typically. I'm pretty sure. But then this one will be a little further. You guys want to try to plug in -5 and see what you get? If you accidentally hit clear, you just have to type the thing in there again. It doesn't take that long. Do you have to replace the negative or can you just go in and replace the 4 with a 5? Yeah, you don't have to. Just make sure your parentheses, still in there. It might throw you off a little. We won't go back to regular linear equations for a while. Show me again. Oh, exponential. Yeah, we do those towards the end. Yeah. You only have to plug in 2 numbers, and I just show you to plug in 0 and 1. So you're gonna like they're
I never understood it though.
you'll get it. I like explaining graphing. I really think it's helpful. We also have some water bottles too, or there's one water bottle up on that bookshelf thingy. Sometimes that helps. Okay. So all we have to do is graph it. So does anyone know how to graph the first coordinate? Are you going to go to the left or the right if it's -3? The left. Okay, so that's right on this line. And the +4 tells you to go up or down 4. Up. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Pop it on there. -4, 3. Are you going to go to the left or the right 4? Left. And then if it says 3, you're going to go up or down. You got it. You can even reflect it as you go if you want to. Okay, last point. We're doing good. And then I'll just have you guys practice this first type of graphing. All right, -5, 0. You're going to go left or right 5. Yep, you're gonna go to the left. Now, if it's a 0, do you have to do anything, or can you just put it right on that little x-axis? Yeah, you just put it right there. Draw your little curvy line. And then we can reflect it. So when you do the reflection, if it's 1 to the left, you just go 1 to the right. Can anyone tell how many spaces this dot is on the -5 from the dotted line? I'll zoom it in a little bit. Oh.
For the thing.
It was a good reminder for what to do though if you are in the restroom, so that's good. Good job being prompt too. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't even hear them jiggle our doorknob. So if you have 2 to the left, you just go 2 to the right. And if you notice your graph doesn't look like symmetrical, then just adjust it as you can, but do your best you can to make it like a pretty even frowny or pretty even smiley face. If it's negative in front, it should be opening down. Versus if this number was positive, would it be going down or would it be going opening up? Yep, perfect. Any questions on that one? And honestly, if you have questions, please feel free to ask them. I can always stop the recording, but honestly, someone online like Shariah, somebody might have a question and they don't have an opportunity to ask it. So if you have one, feel free. We talked about axis of symmetry. That's this guy right here, your x value. Anybody know which point is the vertex? By chance? Yep. Perfect. Yep. So that's your vertex. Wonderful. Good job. Is that you, Ivy? Very nice. You got your vertex, axis of symmetry. Those are on the quiz. They're on the study guide too, but I'm just trying to make sure you guys know them. I'm gonna give you a little hint. I can't really tell, and I think my graph is actually technically a little bit off, but it's okay. This lonely number, that is always the y-intercept. So technically, my graph should have really been crossed at the -5, but I'm not going to mark anybody off for that because I clearly didn't draw my graph correctly either. But yeah, your y-intercept is always this lonely number. And then can anybody tell where this graph touches the x-axis? It's kind of hard to see, but look at your graph. And if you can tell about what those points are, those are your x-intercepts. This one's kind of like between the 4 and the 6, the negatives. So you have 2 x-intercepts typically. And one of them's between the 4 and the 6, so it's -5. Can anybody tell what that one is? Yep, and since it's 1 to the left, we make it a -1. Those are just some things that are on the next unit quiz that I'm trying to remember to be better about pointing out. Axis of symmetry is that vertical line. Vertex is the first coordinate every time. X-intercepts are where it crosses the x-axis, and the y-intercept is the slowly number. That's pretty much how you do it. But this is graphing, I'm saying today. I don't know why I'm struggling for the words. This type of graphing is called standard form. So what I'll do is I'll post 2 separate videos that go over standard and vertex. So I'm going to have you guys practice on your worksheet. I think we're probably good on examples. I know we want time to redo on our quizzes too. So I will have one other type of graphing to go over. But how are you guys feeling on this type of graphing? Like thumbs sideways or up for the most part, or anyone a thumbs down? Thanks for that. It is helpful feedback. I appreciate it.